The ancient world is mysterious, and scientists do not always manage to explain its unusual secrets. There are many incredible buildings in the world that put absolutely everyone into a stupor, from giant statues and stone complexes to amazing columns that are too perfect to be true. Looking at all these structures, it is hard to believe that it was once created by human hands. In this video, I will show you these and other mysterious buildings that no one can explain. Friends, before we start, please like and subscribe to the channel. Alashan Giant Buddha. The location of this statue is Mount Alashan. The statue was carved right into the rock. The height of the statue is 71 meters. The height of the head alone is almost 15 meters, and the width of the statue is about 30 meters. This is a truly grandiose building which is believed to be more than 1,000 years ago. Scientists believe that the work on the creation of the statue took place during the Tang Empire in the 8th century AD. Of course, the Chinese have always been advanced, but even for them, it would be extremely difficult or almost impossible to create such a thing. In addition, next to the statue on the rocks, you can see many other stone images that make the overall picture even more complex. Scientists report that it took ancient people 90 years to create such a structure, but it seems that even in such a short time, it is impossible to create such a thing. Some locals believe that this statue, like other grandiose buildings of the past, was created by advanced civilizations. Others believe that people were helped by someone from outer space or higher forces. What do you think? Write your opinion in the comments. Carved columns of Amritsar Temple. It is impressive not only the scale of some ancient buildings, but also their decoration and processing. One of these structures is located in India, in the city of Shravanabelagola. There is an amazing temple with incredible carved columns. The columns look very unusual and impressive, but they start to seem more impressive when you find out that they were created more than 1,000 years ago. In those days, people did not have the tools to create beauty of this level. Today, this is quite possible, but it will still require a lot of skill. But how was this possible thousands of years ago? Even scientists don't have an answer. Moreover, the researchers studied each column individually and came to the conclusion that they were created perfectly. The ancient carvers did not make a single mistake. How is this possible if they did all this manually? There must have been a miscalculation somewhere, but no. All the columns are made to perfection. This would be real if people made columns on giant machines using some kind of computer templates. Such incredible mathematical precision and calculation shock and amaze scientists. There are only two possible options. Either the columns were created by some advanced race, or ancient India was a more developed and advanced country than we knew about it. Rock-hewn churches of LaBella. Let's take a look at Ethiopia. There is a city called LaBella here. The city is not particularly remarkable, except for its churches. However, these churches baffle modern scientists. The fact is that these churches were carved out of volcanic rock. Each of the 13 churches is unique, inimitable, and has its own style. According to scientists, these structures were built in the 12th centuries AD. It took only 25 years to build from scratch. The most amazing thing is that these structures are located in Ethiopia, an African country whose ancient inhabitants were never famous for advanced knowledge and skills, and could not boast of unique tools. And even in the modern world, it would not be easy to create such churches. Researchers do not quite understand how ancient people were able to create such skillful and incredible churches with the help of primitive tools in just a quarter of a century. But the locals have the answer. They believe that it was not without the help of the almighty forces. According to legends, both ordinary workers and angels who descended to earth worked on the creation of churches. A legend has it that it was the angels who asked LaBella, the local ruler of that time, to build churches, and therefore both ordinary workers and angels worked on the creation of these structures. Nan Madal. Most likely have not heard about this place because this place is located right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It would seem that in such remote and paradisiacal corners, there should be nothing interesting except beaches and clear water. But on Nan Madal, you can find mysterious stone buildings. Stone palaces, temples, tombs, and residential buildings were discovered here, which were erected between the 13th and 16th centuries AD. A question arises. Who would want to build something so grandiose in the Faroe Islands, almost in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Scientists suggest that the local elite and members of high society lived on Nan Madal. Perhaps there was a local government residence here. These are quite possible options. But there is one very strange point. There is no source of fresh water in the archipelago. Is such a place suitable for establishing something like the capital or the central seat of government here? The answer is still open. There is another version of the continent whose structures Nan Madal represented a cult or religious significance. This is more like the truth, but still it's just one of the versions. The complex is severely damaged, so it is difficult to understand exactly what it was actually intended for. Scientists still haven't solved this mystery. Baalbek, Temple of Jupiter. This Temple of Jupiter is located in Lebanon, in the ancient city of Baalbek. This structure looks like typical ancient ruins that can be found in many countries of Eurasia. But the Temple of Jupiter is not as simple as it might seem. It is here that you can find one of the craziest megalithic blocks on the planet. It is called the Southern Stone of Baalbek. Its age is about 2,000 years ago, and its mass is more than 1,000 tons. It is 20 meters long, and the width and height is 4 meters. Pay attention to how smooth and even it is. Of course, it was battered by time, but in ancient times, the stone looked perfect. But why is only part of the stone visible? Because he fell, and it is now almost impossible to lift him. Even using modern powerful technology, it is unrealistic to do this. To do this, you will need several dozen powerful cranes, which simply will not fit in this area. Accordingly, a question arises. If even modern technology cannot cope with this stone, then how did ancient people create it thousands of years ago? How did they process it and make it so perfect and smooth? How did they move it? Moreover, it is just one of the elements of the destroyed temple. Scientists still cannot fully understand how exactly created these buildings, and most importantly, why someone needed it. After all, 2,000 years ago, Lebanon was completely under the rule of the Roman Empire and was not close to its center. Why erect something so monumental and grandiose somewhere on the outskirts of the empire? Scientists still haven't solved this mystery. Friends, which of these structures impressed you the most? Write your opinion in the comments. If you like the video, then like it and share it with your friends. We also recommend watching other videos on our channel.